Welcome back to yet another episode of What's Ahead. Today we have here with us Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar. He is the chairman and the CEO of EST Group. It is an enterprise based in the MIT ecosystem, incorporated and operating from Cambridge Innovation Center. He is based at Cambridge Innovation Center, MIT Boston. Sindhu Bhaskar works in the sector of banking and finance. He is an evangelist. His platform, EST, has four verticals: banking, agri-tech, healthcare, and edtech. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Right, so I would like to just begin with would you like to tell something about your early life?
Well, early life, I have a long, that's wood, I have a long life till now, so I don't know which part of life. So many decades have passed. So, which decade you are interested in?
You can start from where you grew up, college, to like build
Okay,
till where
okay,
you are now.
okay. So, I did my schooling and all from Bihar, and it was Xavier's, Patna St. Xavier's, and from there I moved to Punjab University in Chandigarh, stayed there for about 10, 11 years with my research and all that. And then after that, joined a bank in India as probationary officer. From there, I migrated to overseas, uh, acting as consultant to different banks in East European countries, then working with different overseas corporate houses. Finally, again went to Latin America, Brazil, worked with a bank there, and then finally now I'm more in US and virtually settled there, coming and going to coming to India, going back to US uh, at short intervals, and I took the leap in fintech when I saw that there were a lot of crypto talks and all that, and it was considered that all banks are useless and banks are not doing their job. So that is where I thought that, okay, let me try to do some course correction in all this discussion, because banks are quite old institutions in itself, and they have a long history, how they evolved and how to do, and they have been serving the requirement of the financial needs of those era. So I thought, and I firmly believe that the system is defective because those bankers are not genuine and they are creating problem in the system. The bank as a system and as an institution is working, is fine with all the classical principles, because even in crypto transactions, crypto trading, crypto exchanges, the same set of rules which is common in any classical economic theory and classical banking practices, those same theories and practices have been used. So it became very, very clear to me that institutions are following the same principles, but the players are different, and those players are either creating a good name or a bad name for the institution. So the institution is not bad. The players should be corrected, and that's where I try to jump into fintech and try to create my uh, platform with inclination more towards impact creation and banking the unbanked, financial inclusion, all these things, and how to take the latest technology to different parts of the society, different segments of the society, so that everyone should feel the uh, goodness and worth of the new technology. Otherwise, we can keep talking of any number of new technologies, and if it does not help them and does not percolate in different sectors of society, tiers of society, then those people cannot use those technologies for their betterment. And we know that technology is developed basically by human beings for their comfort level. So that comfort level we had to derive and we had to get, and we had to create also where it is not available. So that is how I got into the banking, neo banking system, and all that. So that's the whole history, you can say, throughout all these decades. But I did start my fintech operations only from 2017, 2018. So it's virtually 4 to 5 years.
Right. And you have a company called as EST Capital. How did you build EST Capital? I know it's based in the MIT ecosystem and it operates from Cambridge Innovation Center, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so I will just correct it. It is EST Global Inc.,
Oh,
which is based, and that is the, I should call it the nerve of all my platform. So that's the main company and the parent company under which all different segments come. It controls all the various companies. And my platform, EST, as it is called, EST stands for empathy, S for security, and T for transparency.
that's
So it is, I try to have all the good qualities and points of empathy, security, and transparency into my platform so that it can be of real utility and real mark in the society and in the societal economy. And it should create an ecosystem which can really develop the rural economy and create a stronger national economy. And my, as you rightly introduced me, that my platform EST has four verticals. One is the banking and neo banking, in which we have payment gateways, global wallet system, and uh, Branchex is there operating for the last 2 years, which is taking care of migrant communities from villages to industrial cities. So we are trying to create banking setup for them and banking infrastructure so that they can have financial inclusion. And that is a real example of banking done. So now we are launching another neobank, which is called Neob, Neob. That is going to target students, women, farmers, and MSMEs. So those are the segments going to be uh, properly affected and uh, improved with our banking, neo banking setup. The second vertical is AgriTech. It is a super app which is available on Android store, and it divides the whole agriculture into three parts. One is farmers as crop producers, in which all support for all these agricultural inputs can be provided to the onboarded farmers through our application. Even the plant health monitoring, land mapping through drones, even insecticide and fertilizers. There can be sprayed through drones for larger tracts of land. Then the second part is farmers as sellers of crop, because production is good, fine, but due to say localized and nature of these farmers and not proper connectivity to market, they are unable to get proper return out of their cultivation. So that is what we are trying to do. We have created five types of market: P2P, uh, like local market, district market, national market, and international market. And through our app, they are connected to all these markets. And whenever they want to sell any product, they can get all the different rates. Similarly, in transport and logistics, again, different transport facilities are provided there so that they can ship out their product and they can have a comparative feel of different transporters and logistic providers. And whichever is giving them the best deal, they can go for that. And the final vertical of the agritech is farmers as wealth creators. Because the whole concept of agritech is agriculture is not only an occupation, but it is a tool for rural development. And when rural development is there and the whole rural economy will get transformed, it will not be an appendage to the urban economy. It will develop on its own with its own movement and its own strength. And then it can become a contributory part of national economy. And then national economy will have two sorts of contribution. One is your industrialized urban economy, and then newly transformed rural economy. So that's the whole concept of agritech. The third is healthcare. In that, we have created a medical cubicle so that primary healthcare tests can be provided to those people where there is no medical support system, or where their hospitals are not properly equipped to do any sort of medical tests. So these are fully AI based, IoT backed medical devices which are providing various types of primary health services tests, and it is also connected to panel of doctors remotely, and it has also pill dispenser system so that they can get their medicine then and there within that cubicle. So we have got orders from different governments also. We are supplying it, and we are also trying to launch it in India as well as in Africa. And the last vertical is EdTech, in which the focus is digital knowledge empowerment of students, and students of rural areas especially. So we are connected to different universities and colleges, and we have JV, and we are creating centers of excellence in those universities and colleges. And all the neighborhood villages, they have this facility to visit those centers as without any fee and charge, and they can have the feel of the latest technology, and they can have that learning and knowledge of the latest technology. And since this edtech is all a pro bono effort from EST, so we ensure that those rural students, they don't have to pay for learning this knowledge. At least they should get the opportunity to get this sort of knowledge and information, because that will only remove the cultural fear towards new technologies which people have, because everyone is not educated, so they cannot get rid of all those things. So that is how everything moves, and this is what we are doing in our uh, ESG as a global company. We are working in India, we are working in Africa, Latin America, so a lot of work going on.
Right. So, how did you build EST Global Inc. and what was your vision behind it? Like, what was that idea that got you started?
As I said earlier, that the whole idea was to take the latest technology and the fintech operations to those areas where people really needed it, because they did not have any sort of support, they did not have any sort of knowledge, and they were totally disconnected from the urban centers, or say the knowledge centers. So it was very important for them to draw them to the whole technology circle, and what we call the ecosystem. So you have to, in new technology, you have to create ecosystem. And ecosystem cannot be fragmentary. It cannot say that, okay, urban people only or rural people only. It has to complement and supplement with all types of populace and all the different tiers of the society. And if you have to really develop any area, you have to build the ecosystem with a very, very composite model. So that is what EST is trying to provide. All our different verticals are also our horizontals. So they become the multiple intersection and transactional points for our ecosystem. So that's how we have evolved our platform, and that's how the whole ethic, and I should say the concept of the platform has been developed.
Right. So, you mentioned four verticals. Like, what are the technologies that you use to fulfill those four verticals? Like, is there blockchain used in any sector?
Okay, point number one is that blockchain is not the, uh, I should say, the golden arrow with which you can solve all the problems. It
Right.
has its own nuances, it has its own expenses. And when people are right now ignorant and uneducated, so the first, uh, I should say, the first effort should be to take the simplest possible technology to them so that they can first start feeling that technology, start using that technology, then only you can complicate the whole technology for them. So, and moreover, there are certain uh, issues in blockchain which uh, will not be feasible while doing this expansion operation in rural areas because it requires a lot of resources and rural people, those who are short of cash and money, they cannot afford to pay that much of expenses for the technology. So it has to be a simple technology, it has to be inexpensive technology, and it has to be a very cohesive and I should say again that it should inclusive technology. So that is what we try to create and develop and do it. But in our agri-tech, like supply chain management system, it has component of blockchain also. And as we grow and people become familiar with our technology, we will be doing like putting blockchain in parts so that we can keep a proper record of those data and all that. But we'll be following all the GDPR principles and the localization of resources, localization of data, all those principles will be followed. So right now we just don't want to. We just want to store all data in those countries where we are operating. I don't want to have it in US and then we get the blame that okay we are trying to exploit that data and things like that. So we are trying to make it very open and transparent and secure for everyone, but at the same time not to complicate the technology.
Right. So, what do you think is the scope of blockchain in the future? Where do you see, like, what fields do you see blockchain being used in?
Well, blockchain, as you know, it is basically a record keep and which is easily available to you, which cannot be replicated. And
Mm.
it because there are different ledgers which are on different resources, different nodes, and you can amalgamate all those records and store it. And whenever you want, you can take it out, and you will have all the date and time stamp to it, and you will have all the security that no one can fuzz those records. So all those beneficial facts of that blockchain technology is there. But as you ask the question, where we can use it? We can use blockchain everywhere. Wherever you have to store data, wherever you have to rearrange data, you have to secure data, and you have to make it available to anyone at any point in time, then you use blockchain. So even in government, in education, in healthcare, in financial transactions, everywhere you can use blockchain, including voting, all that. So there is no end to it. But you have to determine at what cost you are going to do it, what will be the efficiency level of that upgradation of technology, then only you should try to implement it. Not just go by the very hype of any technology.
Right. So like moving on to some fun retrospective kind of questions. Moving on to some lighter questions. What is the most important lesson that you've learned over your career?
Well, there's so many lessons everyone
You can state
keeps
like
learning
anything
in
that
their
comes in
life.
your mind. It doesn't have to be the most important. You can state two, three lessons that you have, sort of learned and the lessons that have stuck to you all this while.
Yeah. First of all, we should not create hype about any of our efforts because every action is virtually evolutionary. So it keeps on growing organically, and then you come up with the final product. So you should not think that, okay, you are doing something revolutionary. No, seeds were there, but you have tried to improve it upon it, and you have tried to give it a new dimension. That is one thing. Secondly, you have to see that you cannot be a profit centric. person every time. You can reduce your profit margin and like pass it on to other sections of the your ecosystem so that you can create a, a rich ecosystem which is remunerative for all the members, and that is where your success lies. So you must have that penetrative feeling in your efforts. And thirdly, the universal axiom that you must be honest to your effort and continuous in your effort. And your design, mental design and vision must be perfect and lined uh, to the goal that you are uh, taking up and going to follow. So I think these three lessons are very, very important in this tech revolution society.
Right, and like, what are the building blocks to becoming successful?
Well, you have to be honest. You have to have a very open mind, not only open eyes, but and ears, but open mind to receive things. And then you should be able to uh, like segregate facts from non-facts and only work with those realities and facts which are the building blocks of your uh, goal, because until unless you are using those facts to build your goal, you cannot succeed. So and then you have to understand what is success, what is the nature of your work that can give you success. If you, even if, like, you can see the fundamentals of finance has changed now. Earlier, we were going by the logic of profitability, but now we are going by the logic of numbers, number of subscribers, members to your platform or application. So, what does that signify to you? That concentration of wealth in handful of guys is not going to work. It has to be now distributed if it is equally well and good. Otherwise, even then, equally or unequally, but it must be distributive in different segments of the society. So when income is distributed and everyone is getting advantage of it, then you have created a long and enduring ecosystem which will ultimately give you the breakthrough and create the profitability for you. So it is now human centric profit orientation and number centric.
Right, so do you have any advice for students who want to make it big in life? Like who look at you and aspire to be somebody like you one day?
Well, I was also a student. So from there only I moved to this stage. So as a student, what I will just suggest and request all of you that you have to be patient. You should not be in a hurry, and you have to put in effort to earn the place. Nothing can come for free, and if it comes for free, it will not have a lasting value. So that is, I think, universal lesson from everyone that you have to be honest to your effort and you have to be patient in your efforts, and then everything will follow. And whatever you do it with open mind. It should not be, because jealousy or enmity is not going to give you any return. So you don't have to bother about those negative values and qualities in life. You have to adopt all positivism and move in a very positive manner. Because now you see there are technologies, students, youngsters, they are going to field and trying to, like, rural areas, fields, moving, working with the farmers and all. The earlier generation had different, they had literally divided the society, and people, upper class people, middle class people, lower class people, and all those things. That's why we have this sort of stratification in our society. But now with technology, all that uh, societal divide has been melted and removed. So people are going to any part of globe to show their worth and their worth. So that should be the vision, that now there is no divide, there is no boundary. Technology is taking you without boundary to different areas of globe, and you should be ready to move without any knots in your mind. You should be always open and receptive.
Right. And are you into like books or movies? And do you have any like recommendations for the audience? And why do you like those movies or books?
Movies.
Yes, movies or books. Any recommendations?
Oh, okay. Movies or books. Well, anyways, like everyone, I'm also a fan of so many Indian heroes and heroines and Hollywood heroes and heroines. But unfortunately, now I don't even get time to read any book or to go to a movie. It's very, very difficult for me. I have to literally, even if I try, and I can hardly see a couple of minutes or a couple of, say, half an hour, 45 minutes of the movie, and then I have to keep working. So, uh, well, it is normal that you should try to. I will suggest that yes, you must read some books also, good books, whatever the latest, I should say, bestsellers are. You should always try to put your hand to it. You should try to see all the movies which are entertaining so that you are not again engrossed with those movie plots and it does not freshen you up. So go ahead with your light movies so that it can refresh you and charge your brain again to do more.
Yeah. Lastly, where can we find your company and how can we contact you if somebody wants to get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, all my companies are also they are having a website. So www.estglobal.com, www.est.agrx.com, www.estfab.com, and I'm on LinkedIn. My phone is always available. I'm very like informal person, so I don't try to go ahead and follow Calendly system of appointment and all. If you have my number, just give me a call. If I'm busy, I will call you back. If not busy, I'll immediately pick up your call. So I don't try to be very formal about all these things because till yesterday, what was our value? There was nothing.
Right.
Now with fintech and all this technology, everyone thinks that they have great value. Okay, fine, great value. Fine. Try to impart that value to others also. So I just try to follow those dictums of my mind and my personality traits.
Right. Thank you so much for being here today. It has been a pleasure talking to you. I think there was a lot to learn about your company, a lot about the verticals that you work on, and how you are transforming the society. And I think it's a great cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.